just start first of all with the news this lunchtime about the Scotland manager Alex McLeish leaving his post after 14 months in charge. Just what's your reaction to that?
I think it's sad, first and foremost, that we're making a change so quickly. It's always disappointing to see any manager lose their job, especially our national manager who's not had a long time in the job. So personally, it's disappointing.
So you didn't feel it was time to make a switch there?
No, I didn't.
And where do you think Scotland goes from here, do you feel?
Well, obviously the powers of be have chose to make this decision, and I would imagine they must have somebody lined up for the job. But from our point of view, it's I think it's a bit early to talk about other people. Alex lost his job, and it's a sore day for him.
How difficult a job did Alex McLeish face in that Scotland manager's role? I mean, we've seen for years Scotland have failed to qualify. It doesn't seem to be an easy post.
No, it's not an easy post. I personally felt Gordon Strachan was doing a really good job, and I know people say that we had 2 failed campaigns, but I thought there was progression there within the team, and I didn't think a change was necessary back at the time. Although we're very impatient in this country, and when you're not been to tournaments for as long as we haven't, then you can maybe understand that a wee bit. But I think that's where strong leadership's required, because I definitely felt there was progression under Gordon.
Do you think that there is too much change too quickly in football, particularly at the national level, when there is that pressure to qualify for tournaments and that sort of thing, but we seem to quickly switch through managers?
I don't think we're any different than other countries. I think if you're not having success, that's what happens. It's a fact of life as a football manager that if the results aren't great, then they're going to the board of directors are going to come under pressure for fans, and that's what I'm saying about sometimes you've got to be strong, and see the work that's going on behind the scenes, and sometimes know all about did we qualify, but also has there been progression there. So as I say, it's a disappointing day. I think you could talk the arms and legs off it, but as I say, Alex lost his job today, and it's not a nice day.
And you yourself, of course, have a busy time of it here at Dundee. How has training been in the last sort of couple of weeks? Obviously you've had a little bit of a break. Has that been beneficial at this point when you're desperately needing victories?
Yeah, I think it has. I think obviously it's well documented the poor run that we've been on, but we've had a really strong week in training this week. We gave the boys an extra day off last week just to get away and get some fresh minds, because at this stage of the season I felt it's important to be mentally sharp, mentally fresh, going into what is 5 pressurised games. So the boys have come back on Monday, and the training has been where I want it to be, but training's all fine and well. It's about what we do on the Saturday, and we're first up St Johnstone, and we've got to take it one at a time, and it's up to us to try and apply pressure on the other 2 teams by getting a positive result, because that's the only way that we can do it. And
John O'Sullivan was saying just before you that the mood in the camp is very good, and the sort of in the dressing room, they're very buoyant and very confident that they can actually beat the drop and get through this situation. Is that how you feel? Do you feel you've got it? He said the training had been brilliant this week. You feel you've got it here to beat this? Without
a shadow of a doubt. If I was going into the game in the last 7 games we hadn't shown anything at all, then I'd be seriously concerned. But the fact of the matter is we've shown plenty in a lot of those games. Where we've let ourselves down is we've not been clinical, and we've not been good enough in both boxes, but you're still having periods of play. So that's the positives that we show the players. In terms of the confidence within the group, then we don't allow people to go about, with their faces, hitting the floor. It's about showing them the good things and showing them the things that they can be better at, and it's as simple as that. You know, it's not the way I manage to be in a strop and you know, in a huff with people. You know, Monday's a new starting week, and it's about making sure that you're trying to improve your players and make your players better. That's the job of a coach and manager, and I'll continue to do that whether we lose or whether we win.
And you mentioned you gave the players an extra day off, and have you changed anything else in the build up to this last round of matches?
No, we've done a lot of work on and trying to be better. You know, in terms of in front of goal. You know, we've done a lot of crossing and finishing, and a lot of getting extra bodies into the box. You know, because we need to win games, we need to score goals to get out of the predicament we're in. So there's been concentration on that as well as some defensive work.
Jim, it's very easy to say, isn't it? Saturday's game, it's only 3 points at stake, but a victory would be much bigger than that for Dundee, surely.
Without a shadow of doubt, you know, to go to St Johnstone and get the 3 points would be a real shot in the arm for us. And as I say, it's the only way that we can try and apply pressure. St Mirren and Hamilton might win their games, and if they do, fair play to them, you know. But unless we win ours, then we won't apply any pressure. So the whole focus is trying to win the next game, which is St Johnstone.
And it would be daft if anybody thought, oh, it might be a bit easier against St Johnstone. They're kind of in no man's land. They're not going to get relegated. They're not going to finish in the top 6. But you know, you can bet Tommy Wright's side will be fired up to try and get 3 points because they want to finish best in the rest, don't they?
Of course they do, and obviously each place that you finish up's got more money involved for the club, which helps budgets. And you know, Tommy's long in the tooth as a manager, and he knows fine well that, you know, he's going to have his players at it, and we fully expect him to be at it. And sometimes a team who aren't playing for a lot, as you say, you know, can play with a freedom when it's like that, you know, and play with that relaxed vibe, and their quality comes to the fore. It's our jobs to make sure they don't.
About a year ago, Dundee had a massive victory here against St Johnstone that kind of kick-started their climb up the table. Ultimately, they avoided relegation. Of course, a few of the boys from then are still here. You can take heart from that and kind of tap into that, can't you?
Yeah, we've got experienced boys in the dressing room who have been through this situation before, not only at Dundee but obviously at other clubs as well. You know, so hopefully their past experiences can really help, you know, the younger guys, the guys who have not been involved in these type of relegation battles. You know, so hopefully that they help them, you know, through these next 5 games.
This is Dundee's third visit of the season to St Johnstone up at Perth. Is that one of the disadvantages of the split, where it's kind of making it unfair in certain ways? It's not an even split.
Yeah, well, you can say that, but sometimes it works for you the other way, you know, and you just have to accept what you get. You know, wherever you play each other, you're still going to have to go and beat them. You know, we've also been to Livingston twice this season, and we're going back there. So you know, it's not easy for the powers that be with the fixture schedule, and I certainly know that, having been in on a meeting on it and how they do it. So it's not an easy situation. I would prefer just to concentrate. It's where we're playing. Let's get ready and let's make sure we're prepared and go there and try and do our best to get the 3 points.
Games against St Johnstone this season haven't been particularly good for Dundee. 2 defeats so far up at Perth, a defeat here. What are you going to do to try and change that around to move it on a little bit?
Well, obviously we need to put the ball in the net. You know, we had the glorious chance down at Perth a couple of weeks ago to get the first goal, and then we had a glorious chance to equalise. You know, and goals change games. You know, they turn it in your favour. That momentum change that you get, you hear it all the times about a team that's in charge and they lose a goal, and all of a sudden the momentum changes. And that is why I've said what we've been working on. We've been trying to make sure we're better in front of goal.
That's certainly something. Dundee haven't scored so far this season against St Johnstone, so that might just be enough to give that kickstart and boost the game.
Well, hopefully that's not good enough, you know, and we've take that firmly on the chin. We've got to be better, and that's why where we are, because we've not been better in those key situations, and you know, that's why we constantly work on it to try and improve it.
You're sitting 3 points off of St Mirren, 7 points off of Hamilton. It's not a million miles away, it's certainly achievable. So the fans have to get behind Dundee over these next 5 finals that they've got.
Yeah, and they certainly have been. I think my fans have been brilliant and they've been very patient. You know, it would be easy for them to be on the players' case, my case, you know, earlier in games than what they have been. You know, it's been a difficult period for them, and we fully understand their frustrations. But again, we will take over 2,000 fans, which tells you the size of this football club, and that can only inspire the players. It's up to us, myself and the players, to get the fans a positive result and a nice Saturday night for a wee change.